Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Encouraging Words for School Counselors podcast. I'm Matt Fleck with Inspire Success, hoping your Thanksgiving break was a good one and that you're ready for the countdown to the rest of the holidays. This week, a great story from Anuar Velazquez. Anwar immigrated to the United States from Mexico in 2003. Now, 18 years later, he's studying to become a high school counselor. This is quite a surprise to some of Anwar's friends and even to Anwar himself, because his early experiences in school were not only challenging, but negative.
I used to hate school. And now, even in my program, I can tell that there's a passion behind what I'm doing because I'm more focused in my classes and I'm getting better grades that I never even thought I was able to or capable of getting. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm already thinking ahead, maybe for a PhD or something like that. But overall, I'm looking forward to being in the educational system. I'm a big social justice advocate, and I believe that this is where I can leave a larger footprint behind.
It comes as no surprise then that Anwar not only has a knack for working with students, he can identify with those who really don't want to be in school.
So a large portion of the students that I work with now as a student mentor are those that are their self-worth is a little low at the time or currently. So a lot of the students that I'm working with fit under that bar, what I like to say, at promise, not at risk, but at promise. So the work that I do with them, it reminds me of kind of the work that I wish somebody would have done with me when I was at that age.
Before becoming a school counselor, Anwar worked as a police officer, stationed at the very school where he is now a counselor intern. Counselors at the school noticed that police officer Velazquez was able to form strong connections with students.
So I worked with the student, and this is actually one of the first students that I started working with that made me go into school counseling. I was introduced to the student because he was having issues relating and connecting with people in the school as a freshman. So during the conversation with his counselor was able to identify, and the great counselor was able to identify that he's into boxing. So I brought up boxing in the past, and that's where the connection was made. So I actually started boxing with the student. After school, I would box with him, and during the school days, we would talk about classes, we would talk about different supports and stuff like that.
Anwar not only created a connection with this student, he got to know this student's older brother, who was a senior at the time and not quite sure what he wanted to do in the future. So one day, Anwar called the older brother into his office.
I was like, hey, have you thought about college? And he was like, no, I never thought of it. My parents are from a lower income family, and I think I'm just going to go into construction. Okay, well, let's talk about that. Even if you go into construction, what about owning a business and creating your own generational wealth? So we talked a little bit about that, and I would just check in and then keep asking, hey, how are we doing? Where are we headed? It's our senior year. So I got him to believe in himself enough to a point where he said, let me apply for college. Let me see what this is about.
And what happened next was a true surprise to the student.
He got in. And so I was like, look, let's not focus on the price right now. Let's apply to financial aid. That's the next step.
To do this, Anwar first worked with the student's family, which was afraid it could not afford college. He walked the family through the steps of applying for financial aid, helped them apply, and waited to see what would happen.
So he comes in my office and he shows me his financial aid package, and it was $0. He didn't have to pay anything. And his huge smile on his face. And my question to him was, at the end of this all was, did you trust me? And he was like, no, I did. And that's something that I couldn't say for his actual school counselor. He was like, I never knew that their information was inaccurate, that he just didn't believe in it.
Trust is important, Anwar. Trusting that students have the ability to succeed no matter their skin color or background, and helping students trust that their school counselors have their best interests at heart. Anwar also feels success has a lot to do with belief.
It really starts with the belief that, yes, this is for me too. That, yeah, he may look like me, so now I can do something similar to that. Even when I was a police officer, I would see little kids look at me as if I was this alien, whoa, I've never seen an officer that looks like me. So I want them to have that experience that you can't. It's not just about looking like me, but it's also that you can do something that is similar to the things that I'm doing. Yeah, so I hope that my story and my experience can really encourage those students to believe in themselves too.
Thanks for sharing your story, Anwar. We hope to see more counselors like you because schools and students need you. We also hope that you will take a few minutes to subscribe to the Encouraging Words for School Counselors podcast, tell your friends about us, or best of all, decide to contact us to share a story of your experiences as a school counselor. You can record your story anytime, night or day, at inspiresuccess.org/soundbooth, or send me a one-sentence email about your story idea at matt@inspiresuccess.org. We're coming up to Christmas and New Year's, so if you have a story about the holidays that is funny or touching, definitely, please let us know. That's it for now. Thanks again for listening.